Hello and welcome back to Chakra Yin Yoga. Today is the second chakra that we will dedicate our poses to. That is in the lower abdomen. It's also called the sacral chakra, and it kind of wraps like a band around all areas, out or in. And it's nothing that we can like take, but it's also a place where we can connect into the very deepest part of the belly, from the belly button down to the pubic bone. So it's located in the place by the sacral region, by the genitalials, and in women in the womb, and it stands for and helps us to balance and represents desires for life and desires really for anything, and pleasure and sexuality. So it's nice to have something fun to do, something that pleases us. And today it is yoga, and it is also standing for the water element in our body, and the color of the chakra is orange, bright orange. So maybe you will have visions of orange. Maybe you would like to repeat the seed mantra for this chakra, which is VAM, V-A-M. So I have all of that written below this video. Let's start by just sitting together and taking a comfortable seat, and make sure that you have your blocks and your straps handy by, and pillows if you need them. And for now, we'll just take a comfortable seat in happy pose, and sitting nice and tall on our sit bones, and connecting with the breath all the way from the seat and through the whole spine up towards the top of the head with each and every breath. We'll take 5 breaths together and center ourselves, and softening all of the outer layers, and tap into our creativity and to our feeling center. Letting the breath come and go as it likes. And maybe you're guiding it along the way to go a little bit deeper than our normal breathing in the rib cage. We'll take it to all parts of the body, and especially in towards the second energy center, the Svadisthana-Flow-Sacral Chakra. And we'll take 2 more breaths together. And gently open our eyes if we have them closed. And we're gonna lay onto our backs and start with outstretched leg stretch. So take your strap or a belt or scarf or something, and we're gonna use it to get into a comfortable position to stretch from the deepest part of the belly all the way out the leg in towards the feet. Take the strap around the right foot and feed your hands down on each side, and maybe stretching out your left leg fully, and just going to find where you have your edge in your hamstring region from your sit bones, from your seat, and keeping it there, and from there on holding it still for the next 20 breaths or so. We just get to hang out together and go deeper into our layers and clean and clear, and with intention start to open up and start to purify our second chakra, our Svadhisthana, the flow in our life, the flow in our body, the flow in our thoughts. Maybe you're continuing on with deeper ujjayi breaths, or maybe you're just letting the breath come and go as it likes. Doing our best to relax all the layers, and just letting the hands hold on to the strap. but doing our best to kind of relax them as well, so that we're not having any tension in the body, relaxing the neck. Staying here for about another 10 breaths. Three more breaths here. Really sinking into the layers of the back of the leg. And gently making your way to the second side by just simply switching legs. And maybe your right foot ends up flat onto the floor. Maybe you stretch it out in front of you. Finding a good place for your left leg to be in an upright position, and using strap or the belt or a scarf, whatever we have, to make it comfortable for our leg to just be in a really beneficial place for a deeper elongation and cleaning and clearing of the back of the left leg. And relaxing all parts, finding our edge, holding the pose and keeping it as still as we can, and just letting the magic happen throughout the layers. Going into the fascia, the connective tissue. Relaxing the toes. Letting the breath come and go as it likes, or guiding your breath with ujjayi breaths, deeper breaths, or maybe a little bit of each. Another 10 breaths or so. Maybe just get to go deeper with each breath into the layers. Visualizing opening the pathways from the first into the second chakra energy center. Another 3 breaths here. And slowly open your eyes if you had them closed. Mine tend to close a lot during YinYoga. And then release the strap and the leg. And we're going to just kind of move about a little bit and take ourselves over to one side and take our blocks. If you need them, you might not need blocks. And the next one is dragon pose. We're going to come up onto all fours. We might have a blanket for our knees. Because we'll stay here for 20 breaths. We'll have 10 breaths in a straightaway dragon pose, and then we'll take 10 breaths with a winged dragon. So make it comfortable for your knees. Use your blocks if needed. I'll use my block. Step the right foot forward and relax your back foot and sink into a comfortable edge for your left hip flexor, for your right adductors, hamstrings, and as well hip flexors. And we'll go in and target the space on the inner layers of that iliopsoas and iliacus. And just find a place where you find some good release into the hips on your left side. And we'll stay here for about 10 breaths or so before we switch it up a little bit. Can get kind of intense, so feel free to use blocks or books or something that you have nearby that will help you to find your edge of your pose, and you can be able to stay there. Breathing, directing the breath into the second energy center, right at the sacral region, front and back, and to the sides as well. Stay for another 5 breaths here. And slowly come out of it for a moment and move your right foot out to the right side and open up the foot, and use your blocks again if you needed to, or simply take your forearms to the floor. I'll use a block for my forearms today and kind of just open up that right foot and get into the outer layers of the right hip. So we'll target that second Svadisthana chakra from the lateral side on the right side. Breathing into it, breathing into new openings, new possibilities, new creations. New health and well-being. Finding your edge and holding your pose and keeping it still. Doing our best to relax all layers of the body. Staying here for another 5 breaths or so. And gently make your way to the second side for our dragon pose, supported with blocks or hands on the floor. Take your pick that works for your body. Step your left foot between the blocks or hands and adjust your blanket for your right knee if you're using one, or maybe you're using a pillow. And come and find your edge. Relax your right leg. Have good support so you can come to your edge comfortably for your right hip flexor, iliopsoas. Opening the deeper layers of the energy center of the second chakra. With intention, breathing into it and unlocking any stagnation. Staying for another 5 breaths or so to get into the fascia, connective tissue, the deeper layers. Rearranging the flow in our body by holding our poses longer. And gently making your way up and coming with your left foot out to the left side and winging it to the side, coming onto your forearms or your hands on the floor. Take that left foot and turn it out, come to the pinky toe side and get to the lateral side of your left hip, targeting the hips from the rotation of the left hip, turning it and churning the energies. 10 breaths here. Directing your breath to all parts, or simply just letting it flow freely at its own. Checking in to see that the breath do travel through all layers of the body. Five more breaths here. And gently make your way up from here. Make your way into child's pose. Maybe you are stretching your legs a little bit back and forth and making sure it feels comfortable for the knees. We can come to all fours and just kind of stretching that right side out and the left side out, making sure that our knees are nice and happy after that. And before we go into child's pose, so let's take either Bring a pillow underneath your belly, or just simply come all the way down to your big toes apart, knees wide, arms forward. You can turn your head one direction and get a nice neck stretch in as we are coming into the seat, coming into the sacral region, resting and releasing any stagnation in your hips, in your SI joints, in the sacral region, balancing the flow in our hips. We have 10 breaths here, and then we'll turn our head 10 breaths second way. And gently moving your head to the other way if you had it turned, or just simply stay with your head if you had your forehead down. 10 more breaths. Releasing any tension in the sacral region. Three more breaths here. And gently coming all the way up, coming to all fours. And this is a good opportunity for you who like to take a down dog after child's pose. I'll take a downward facing dog to get some blood flow through the ankles and the knees and the hips. Can certainly be on all fours and stretch the legs back as well. From here we're going to come onto our backs and come into shoelace pose, squeezing the energy to the midline again. So let's take the knees into the chest and take your right over your left, and from here taking your hands, either interlace them around your knees or maybe around one knee, If it's available, you can take your hands down towards your ankles. You can take them to the outside of the feet and just relax your hands somewhere and let the weight of your hands and the legs just help you get to your edge of your pose. You might have a block underneath the one foot. Maybe that would feel good. So go and see what works for you. And we'll stay here for 20 breaths or so to really get some good flow in the hips, some good deep opening pathways in the layers of the hip region, in the sacral region, in the hip joint. Relaxing all the muscles as best as we can to really just find the edge of our pose and stay there and keep it still and letting the pose do the work for us to balance the second chakra today with intention. Staying for another 7 breaths or so. And slowly make your way to the second side. You might stretch your legs in between and then take your left over your right. Come into shoelace pose, upward facing shoelace pose with your hands around your ankles or around the knees or interlace or however feels comfortable. Maybe you brought in a strap to hold on to lengthen the arms. So whatever it feels like a good place for you to get in towards the lateral side of the hips by just being in this upward facing shoelace pose and putting some light pressure with your hands on the ankles, really just by relaxing the arms. Targeting our second chakra from the outer hips to the deeper layers. Arranging our sacral region. checking in with ourselves, that we are relaxing all parts of the body. Another 10 breaths here. And slowly release your legs and have your knees in. Do what you like to do to just kind of bring some of that new, healthy, vibrant flow into the hips. Maybe a few windshield wipers. And then we're gonna come into a happy baby pose. So let's just kind of work out whatever we need to work out in the hips before we can take our legs back up and arms on the inside of the knees and hands on the outside of the feet, and grounding the femurs, really rooting the femurs in a nice, even, loving way, and really finding that nice open space for the hips. All the layers that we targeted with this practice. Bringing a nice open flow for the sacral region, for the energy around it. Lifting any stagnation off. We have about 15 or so breaths left here. Get a nice even pressure for both legs in towards the hip socket. Really rooting and grounding in the legs to the hips, feeling stable from the root chakra, stability, grounding. Feeling a nice open flow in the hips. Feeling even pressure on the sacrum. Another 10 breaths here or so. Sinking into the layers. 3 more breaths here, where we just let the hands and the feet relax into each other. And gently from there, releasing the pose, bringing the knees together and extending out to your Shavasana, letting the layers from the whole body extend out through the skin, muscle, skin, all the way out, and letting the energy from the hips down and flow down into the legs and open up the pathways. So I encourage you to stay right here while I give us a little tunes and some sounds for the chakras with my seal chakra bowl. Enjoy your relaxation, your rejuvenation, where all of the layers of the body has a chance to find a nice new place where to be and reside from. And with intention, we will just rest and let the pulsation of the second chakra just really turn and churn in the direction that is appropriate for us, and open up our creativity and new beginnings, and open up possibilities for more sweetness into our life. Thank you so much for joining me for day 2 of our 7 days of Chakra Yin Yoga series. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, where we move up a step towards the solar plexus chakra. Enjoy resting, enjoy meditating, enjoy drinking lots of nice fresh water to keep our chakras nice and clear. Thank you. Namaste.